I need to pee very badly, but I'm not gonna go do it. Because I don't want to have to look around in this footage to edit out yet another bathroom break. It's already... The first one is already going to take about 40 seconds of my time, and that's just too much work. Editing videos is way too much work.
Some of the slaves have been spreading stories about the burned man again.
I felt the ground shake a while ago. I'll take that as a sign you've got the job done.
And I won't even follow
Let's press
up to
on,
make
shall
sure.
we? As I was telling you before, I want Mr. House out of the picture. You have an interest in his death, too. If he knows that you destroyed his gadgets beneath the fort, he will strike back. You know where to find him. How he dies, I leave up to you. What did you want to know?
And now, the other super interesting dude in this game.
My Praetorians embody the martial ideals of my legion. Each one of them has done enough conquering and killing to deserve the rank of Centurion. Instead, I invited them to join my guard. So the invitee chooses whichever current guard he thinks is weakest and challenges him. The fight is to the death. It keeps them from getting complacent. Lucius has been the head of my guard for 5 years now. He was a subordinate guard for 8 before that. No invitee has dared to challenge him yet. Maybe it's an issue of respect. He is getting on in years. What else did you want to know? Linnaeus is the greatest of my battlefield commanders. Some might call him a great man, but I'm not sure he qualifies. Once, he was the greatest warrior of the Hydebarks, a tribe of the Arizona. Maniacal in battle. Sometimes he'd ambush Legion patrols by himself. When after several months we found and surrounded the Hydebarks camp, their chieftain raised a banner of surrender. The warrior, who was not yet Linnaeus, went insane with rage. He struck down his chieftain and attacked his own tribe. He killed 15 before they brought him down. He didn't die, obviously. I had him tended to. He was maimed, most of his face torn off. It was days before he regained consciousness. When he did, I went to his bedside and showed him the helmet I'd had forged to cover his face. I said he could have it if he'd fight for me. He accepted, on condition that he be allowed to kill the surviving males of his tribe. I said, make it the adult males, and you have a deal. Linnaeus is savage. Savagely loyal, too, but only to me. He has no love for my legion. But this has its uses. He has no attachment to his men, no compunction about battlefield losses. All he cares about is destroying the enemy. When another legatus or a centurion fails to achieve results, I send Linnaeus to make things right. His first step is to beat the failed commander to death in front of his assembled troops. Then he orders the ritual of decimatio.
Decimatio? What the hell is that?
It means decimation. But in ancient Rome, the word had a very specific meaning. A punishment for cowardice. The legionaries are lined up in ranks. Every 10th man steps forward and is beaten to death by his brothers. It instills a certain robust obedience.
Yeah, I bet.
Yes. This time my legionaries will be more frightened of the commander behind them than the enemy before them. There will be no failure this time, no retreat, no years of gathering slaves and resources for another assault. With Linnaeus to drive the legion forward, the dam will be taken. It will be our bridgehead across the Colorado. It's not going to happen again. That's all I have to say about it. And I've heard it's a bad idea to tempt the wrath of Caesar. Change the subject. What else did you want to know? Do you want my opinion as a former citizen or future conqueror? Actually, my opinion's the same either way. As a young man, I was taught to venerate President Tandy of Shady Sands, the founding mother of the new California Republic. Did you know her presidency lasted 52 years? And that her father, Aradesh, was the Republic's first president? Does that sound like a democracy to you? Or a hereditary dictatorship? Because the council didn't dare oppose her. She was too popular. She had the people's love. So things ran smoothly, more or less. And as soon as she was gone, as soon as there really could be democracy, what happened then? Ever since losing its queen, the NCR has been weaker, more diffuse. Democracy has been its weakness, not its strength. Greed runs rampant. The government is corrupt, accepting bribes from Brahmin barons and landowners to the detriment of citizens. The NCR is a loose conglomerate of individuals looking out for themselves. It's lost virtue. No one cares about the collective, the greater good. It's not built to last. I'm just hastening the inevitable.
Oh, I don't feel like talking during his... He's got so much interesting, nuanced dialogue. Him and Mr. House are two guys you just want to sit down and listen to, because they both have very interesting philosophies on all types of different stuff. And you can just sit down and ask them, what do you think about the NCR? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And it's just, I love the dialogue in this game. It's so well written. That's why I was so disappointed when Outer Worlds came out, and like all the nuance was just gone. There wasn't, like, everyone in that game is a fucking idiot. There's not a single character in the Outer Worlds that comes even close to Caesar or to Mr. House. Everyone in the Outer Worlds is just a jackass, and I can't bring myself to give a shit about any of the characters. But then you come back and play this, and it's like, I don't believe that these are the same people who made the Outer Worlds, because it's absolutely night and day how different the writing is for the two of them.
Of course, the most powerful my legion has faced. Also the first to which I am ideologically opposed. Until now, every tribe I've conquered has been so backwards and stunted, enslavement has been a gift bestowed upon them. My conquest of the Mojave will be a glorious triumph, marking the transition of the Legion from a basically nomadic tribe to a genuine empire. Just as my namesake campaigned in Gaul before he crossed the Rubicon, so have I campaigned and will cross the Colorado. What else did you want to know? I know he's a coward, hiding behind an army of robots ensconced in that tower of his like a wizard in one of those Grognak comic books. Some say he's a man, others a machine. I don't care. He's in the way. What else did you want to know? I've analyzed the region's tribe to determine how they might be useful. I may tell you more at a later time, if it suits me. What else did... Ironically, I was born a profligate myself, a citizen of the NCR. My family lived not far from the Great Boneyard. After raiders killed my father, my mother sought the followers' protection. I was 2 years old. She found work at their library, cooking and cleaning. I learned how to read, and soon I was taking courses, free of charge. Oh yes, raised in that tradition. And the teaching stuck. I was taught it was my responsibility to bring the torch of knowledge to the waste. I may have taken the torch part more literally than they intended.
Oh, you are such a funny guy, Caesar. He's got jokes for days.
When I was 20, the followers sent me east to Grand Canyon. It was my first expedition. Just me and a physician named Calhoun. As an anthropologist and linguist, my assignment was to learn the dialects of the Grand Canyon tribes. What a fucking waste of time. If you think it's worthwhile to make smart people learn how to talk like backward savages, you're a follower of the apocalypse, or an idiot. Anyway, we met up with a Mormon missionary who already knew a bunch of dialects. Joshua Graham. He was supposed to teach me, but before that went too far, the Blackfoot tribe captured us to hold us for ransom. They were a backward bunch, but the real problem was they didn't know how to fight. The Blackfoot were at war with 7 other tribes, each just as pissant as they were. But outnumbered like that, they weren't going to last long. It's one thing to be taken hostage, another to be lashed to a sinking ship. So over Calhoun's objections, I decided to take certain steps. I taught them how to use the guns they already had, how to strip and clean them, how to breathe when pulling a trigger, how to reload ammunition. They looked at me like I was some kind of a sorcerer. So I taught them how to make explosives and started drilling them on small unit tactics. If there's anything I learned as a follower of the apocalypse, it's that there's a lot of good information in old books. Divide et impera, divide and conquer. I led the Blackfoot against the Ridgers, their weakest enemy. When they refused to surrender, I ordered every man, woman, and child killed. When next we surrounded the Kaibabs, and they likewise refused, I took one of their envoys to the Ridgers' village and showed him the corpse piles. This was new for the tribes, you see. They played at war, raiding each other, a little rape and pillage here, a little ransoming there. I showed them total warfare. Like I said, there's a lot you can learn from old books. Kaibabs joined me, and the Fredonians after that. All the pissant tribes with names that should be forgotten. I knew from the start I'd need to eradicate this plague of tribal identities, replacing them with a monolithic culture, a uniform identity. So that's what I did once my confederation of tribes was large enough. I crowned myself Caesar and created a single great tribe, my legion. I sent Calhoun, the follower captured with me, back west with a message that I should not be interfered with. Joshua Graham, the Mormon interpreter, stayed with me and served as my first legatus.
It's the same kind of shit that China was doing over in the East. Well, the historical Caesar was doing this kind of shit in Rome. China conquered a bunch of territory and replaced all their cultural identities with their own.
That's right. Decades of warfare, absorbing lesser tribes, gathering power, forging the dross into a vast, razor-sharp scythe. My legion's expansion has never ceased. Much of the Utah and Colorado and all of Arizona and New Mexico are mine. We have cities of our own, but nothing compared to Vegas. Finally, my legion will have its Rome. What else did you want to know? I used Imperial Rome as the model for my legion precisely because it was so foreign, so alien. I'd seen what had become of the NCR's attempts to emulate the culture of pre-war America, the infighting, the corruption. Rome was a highly militarized autocracy that effectively integrated the foreign cultures it conquered. It dedicated its citizens to something higher than themselves, to the idea of Rome itself. In Rome, I found a template for a society equal to the challenges of the post-apocalyptic world, a society that could and would survive, a society that could prevent mankind from fracturing and destroying itself in this new world by establishing a new Pax Romana. It means a nationalist, imperialist, totalitarian, homogenous culture that obliterates the identity of every group it conquers. Long-term stability at all costs. The individual has no value beyond his utility to the state, whether as an instrument of war or production. No, I'll destroy it because it's inevitable that it be destroyed. It's Hegelian dialectics, not personal animosity. How do I put this basically enough? It's a philosophical theory, the kind you might encounter if you took time to read some books.
I can't read.
The fundamental premise is to envision history as a sequence of dialectical conflicts. Each dialectic begins with a proposition, a thesis, which inherently contains or creates its opposite, an antithesis. Thesis, and antithesis. The conflict is inevitable, but the resolution of the conflict yields something new, a synthesis, eliminating the flaws in each, leaving behind common elements and ideas. The bombs wiped the slate clean. Human civilization descended to a level of ignorance that effectively set our cultural progress back to zero. The NCR has all the problems of the ancient Roman Republic: extreme bureaucracy, corruption, extensive senatorial infighting. Just as with the ancient Republic, it is natural that a military force should conquer and transform the NCR into a military dictatorship. Thesis and antithesis. The Colorado River is my Rubicon. The NCR Council will be eradicated, but the new synthesis will change the Legion as well, from a basically nomadic army to a standing military force that protects its citizens and the power of its dictator. What else, then? Good. Don't know what kind of security he has inside the Lucky 38, but if you can find a way of catching him off guard, do so.
Oh boy. Always nice talking to Caesar.
True to Caesar.
I don't blame you if you felt like skipping through all that shit. I don't know why you would, though. Caesar's entertaining on his own.
Lead the way.
Okay, where to next? Probably to the bathroom. What are we doing now? Why is that telling me collect caps from Santiago? I collected the caps from Santiago, and then I shot him in the face. You got your stuff back. Thank you. That's gotta be a glitch or something, because it's still pointing me towards Santiago. He's fucking dead. What am I supposed to do about that? I guess we'll go see what Gloria has to say about it. Oh wait, Gloria's the Van Graff, isn't it? Am I thinking of the wrong person? No, Francine. Gloria's the Silver Rush lady. I can tell how fucking much of a peaceful medical researcher you are. You just blew someone's fucking head off with a laser pistol, you psychopath. Arcade is a psychopath.
We've got stuff we're not even allowed to sell, people.
You can't have stuff you're not allowed to sell and have a crier advertising it outside. Because if there was anyone who was actually enforcing the you're not allowed to sell something rule, and they probably shouldn't be advertising it outside. Right? There you are.
So, Benny's dead, huh? That shifty son of a bitch had it coming.
Did he?
I don't care how you handled those lumps of human refuse, but you got the job done. We need you to hunt down another person.
I can
That
hunt
son
down
of a
another
bitch
person.
McCaffrey stole a ton of caps and ran off to Vegas. I guess the fact that we farmed out his usual work to you pissed him off. No one steals from the Garrett twins. If you can kill that bastard and bring back as much as you can, you'll be paid very well.
Okay.
Good. Just stop on back when he's dead and you'll be rewarded handsomely. Bring his hat as proof of the kill.
I'll do it.
Till next time.
Lasers, plasma, pistols, grenades. We've got it all at the Silver Rush.
Take me to the strip.
Thank you for visiting New Vegas.
Yes. You. I would have words with you. McCafferty.
Huh. So the Garretts sent you to track me down. What a joke. Now why the hell should I do that? You're below me, kid. I've been killing scum twice your size since before your mother squeezed you out.
That's a clever way of saying you're old, dude. You can't handle me. I have young legs. Young legs and arms and eyes that can destroy you.
If you think you've got the guts, I'd like to see you try.
You fool.
Hey!
What have you done? Oh! No, he had a shotgun. You fool. Why would you ever use a shotgun?
Where to, partner?
I'd like to go to the penthouse.
So, Benny has been handled, and you've recovered the platinum chip. Let's have it. Such a small thing, isn't it? And yet so capacious, so very dear. Decades of hiring salvagers out west to search for this little relic in the ruins of a place called Sunnyvale. Back then, anyway. That's where the chip was printed, on October 22nd, 2077. It was to have been hand-delivered to me here at the Lucky
Cyberpunk
38
is called
the
Cyberpunk
next day.
2077. That's coming
But
out
the
in like 5
bombs
days.
fell
isn't it?
first. Suffice it to say, the delivery was never made.
What does this chip do?
Yes, so far as you've seen, all it does is change the picture on the Securitron's face screens from policemen to soldiers. But as you'll see, some things are more easily shown than told. Take the elevator all the way down to the bottom level, and you'll see what I mean. Don't worry, you'll like what you see. We have much to accomplish, you and I. Step closer to the demonstration area, if you would. I expect you're well familiar with my Securitrons by now. The titanium alloy housing that protects its electronic core deflects small arms and shrapnel easily enough. Its X-25 Gatling laser, produced to spec by Glassinghouse Inc., is deadly against soft targets at medium range. And for close-range suppression or crowd control, the Securitron is armed with a 9mm submachine gun. All of this you probably already knew. What you did not know is that these are the Securitron's secondary weapons. All this time, my Securitrons have had to get by running the Mark I operating system, which lacked software drivers for their primary weapons. Today, with the delivery of the Platinum chip, all that changes. Behold, for the first time, Securitrons running the Mark II OS. The M235 missile launcher gives the Securitron the ability to engage ground and air targets at significantly longer ranges. And a rapid-fire G-28 grenade launcher ensures the Securitron is deadly in close-range engagements. The software upgrade also includes drivers for the Securitron's highly sophisticated on-board auto-repair systems. Altogether, the Mark II software upgrade confers a 235% increase in combat effectiveness per unit.
Wow, that's like three. That's like two, more than 2 times that good.
Return to the penthouse now.
Can get them power. Well, that was an excellent demonstration.
Are rarely so educational, don't you think?
Yeah, usually it
I've
just
since
ends with
broadcast
blood.
the upgrade to every Securitron in range of my transmitters, and I must say, it's causing quite a stir down on the strip.
What's next?
The foundation is laid. My Securitrons on the strip are upgraded, and those at the fort ready for action. Now it's just a matter of adjusting the attitudes of some lesser groups while we wait for Caesar's Legion to attack Hoover Dam. What did you want to discuss?
Tell me of things, Mr. House.
General Oliver's strategy, or tunnel vision, as I like to call it, has been to mass troops at Hoover Dam. He wants to outfight the Legion in a straightforward slugging match, and then, when they rout, pursue and destroy them in detail. A crushing, decisive victory of this sort would overshadow the tactical ingenuity of Chief Hanlon's defense 4 years ago, you see. A good deal should be obvious to you by now. I won't spoil the rest by talking out of turn. What else did you want to discuss? I've resurrected Vegas, spirit intact. What I need now is the ability to enforce my rightful claim. Not just against Caesar's Legion, by the way. In fact, the NCR is a more present and insidious threat. To enforce, one must have force, a position of strength. Years ago, when I detected NCR scouts roaming the Mojave, I could tell from their uniforms that these were no mere tribesmen. I knew it was only a matter of time before an army appeared to take control of the dam, and I knew my Securitrons wouldn't be enough to oppose them. And so I recruited the 3 families. Vegas belongs to me because I mustered enough strength to bring the NCR to the bargaining table.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk through Mr. House's shit either. So there's your warning if you want to skip that. He's too interesting.
Indeed it was, and still is, but not without taking significant casualties. Would Kimball and Oliver have traded the lives of hundreds of soldiers for absolute control of Hoover Dam? Oh, yes. They weren't afraid of me. They were afraid of Caesar. That attacking me would leave them vulnerable to a Legion offensive. And so they negotiated. Not out of the kindness of their hearts, as they try to make it seem, because the calculus of power left no other choice. NCR forces were permitted to occupy Hoover Dam and establish a military base at McCarran Airport. Well, it used to be one. They recognized my sovereignty over the Vegas Strip and agreed to supply electricity and water once their engineers repaired the dam. Written into the treaty were provisions that the NCR do nothing to prevent its soldiers and civilians from visiting the Strip. That's how I harnessed the NCR to my endeavor. Their occupation has been the engine of my growing economy. The salient issue is that they will go to war with me if given the chance. There's just one reason why the NCR hasn't contrived some outrage to justify invading the Strip. Caesar's Legion. The final battle between those 2 armies is fast approaching. I can't afford to let either side win on their terms. What else did you want to discuss? New Vegas is more than a city. It's the remedy to mankind's derailment. The city's economy is a blast furnace in which can be forged the steel of a new rail line running straight to a new horizon. What is the NCR? A society of people desperate to experience comfort, ease, luxury. A society of customers. With all that money pouring in, give me 20 years and I'll reignite the high technology development sectors. 50 years and I'll have people in orbit. 100 years and my colony ships will be heading for the stars to search for planets unpolluted by the wrath and folly of a bygone generation.
Coming from Mr. House in this game, the way he's... just the amount of capability that he has. Like, this dude mathematically predicted nuclear war down to, like, the day. He was just a couple hours off. And that was the only thing he fucked up on. But he created, like, so much in-universe shit. He owns Robco, and which, like, Vault-Tec is a subsidiary of it. He made the vaults and everything. Like, Mr. House has made and is in control of so much shit. So it's like, you can believe when he's like, yeah, we'll have people in space in 100 years. It's like, in the Fallout universe, yeah, he's probably capable of doing that. It's just, the question is the good that he can bring to the world, is that justified because of how much of an asshole he is? It's like, is his assholeness justified compared to what he can build and what he's capable of? That's the question. Or you could just be like, fuck everyone else, I'll live in a penthouse and just have everything tended to me. There's a lot of nuance to it. It's not just black and white morality. You could get into, like, serious philosophical debates about who's the best fit for the wasteland, because it's like, it's easy to say, oh, well, we'll just take over with Yes Man and we'll just rule everything, but and that's the best option. But it's like, I don't know anything about running a fucking country. I'd probably derail it in 5 years because I don't know how to manage shit. So there's never just a clean-cut answer. There's always, you can really justify taking any path. And that's one of the things that I love about this game, is there's no cut and narrow good or evil or good or bad options. It's just, here's a lot of shit going on, and there's a lot more to it than just what there is on the surface. Caesar isn't just a big fat asshole who's fucking everything up. He is that, but he's also extremely intelligent, and he has a serious philosophy behind what he's doing and why he's doing it. This is why this game is so fucking good. Is because there's so much shit to unpack. There's so much shit to talk about.
I prefer the term autocrat. I would rule as a chief executive. I would not answer to a board of directors or any other entity. Nothing to impede progress. If you want to see the fate of democracies, look out the windows. My judgment. I have no interest in abusing others, just as I have no interest in legislating or otherwise dictating what people do in their private time. Nor have I any interest in being worshipped as some kind of machine god messiah. I am impervious to such corrupting ambitions. But autocracy? Firm control in the hands of a technological and economic visionary? Yes, that Vegas shall have. What else did you want to discuss? It was a place of splendor. As magnificent as today's strip may seem, it's but a shadow of the neon paradise that was Las Vegas. I grew up not far from here, and though I traveled the old world extensively, I never found another place like it. By 2065, I deemed it a mathematical certainty that an atomic war would devastate the Earth within 15 years. Every projection I ran confirmed it. I knew I couldn't save the world, nor did I care to, but I could save Vegas, and in the process, perhaps save mankind. I set to work immediately. I thought I had plenty of time to prepare. As it turned out, I was 20 hours short. On the day of the Great War, 77 atomic warheads targeted Las Vegas and its surrounding areas. My networked mainframes were able to predict and force transmit disarm code subsets to 59 warheads, neutralizing them before impact. Laser cannons mounted on the roof of the Lucky 38 destroyed another 9 warheads. The rest got through, though none hit the city itself. A suboptimal performance, admittedly. If only the Platinum chip had arrived a day sooner. The Platinum chip was printed in Sunnyvale, California on October 22nd, 2077, the day before the Great War. It was to have been delivered by courier the following afternoon, but by then, the world had ended. The chip contained vital software upgrades, but not just for my Securitrons. Every aspect of the missile defense grid would have been upgraded too. Given that I had to make do with buggy software, the outcome could have been worse. I nearly died as it was. Software glitches set off a cascade of system crashes. I had to take the Lucky 38's reactor offline, lest it melt down. For nearly 5 years, I battled power outages and more system crashes until I finally managed to reboot my data core with an older version of the OS. I spent the next few decades in a veritable coma, but I survived, obviously, and eventually thrived. What else did you want to discuss? Hoover Dam, of course. A hydroelectric dam. The NCR had it up and running at 50% capacity within a year of occupying the dam. By treaty, New Vegas receives 5% of its output. More than enough. What else did you want to discuss? That's because he ceased to be relevant when you recovered the Platinum chip. Revenge doesn't interest me. Progress does. Sorry to deny you a moment of primate triumph, but you'll have to go elsewhere to sound your barbaric yawp. What else did
Mr.
you
House,
want to discuss?
such an asshole, but so rich.
Goodbye.
And smart, unlike most of the rich people in real life who are usually just big dumb assholes who inherit everything from Daddy Dearest.
Lead the way.
Okay, what are we doing now? It doesn't look like he gave me a quest. Aren't you gonna give me a quest? What do I do?
The next step is to add the
There you
Boomer's
go.
considerable firepower to my growing arsenal, or at the very least, ensure their neutrality. I'd rather you just dealt with the Boomers, but all right.
I want to talk to you, Alice. Tell me about the Boomers.
They occupied Nellis Air Force Base a little over 50 years ago. One of my Securitrons got some video of their arrival and then exploded. Odds are they were vault dwellers. That's everything I know about them, really. As I was saying, I need you to enlist or neutralize the Boomers at Nellis Air Force Base. Use extreme caution when approaching the base. Their firepower is considerable. Recently, one of my roaming Securitrons observed a man near the base studying the pattern of its artillery fire. Maybe he's learned something.
Okay. I almost walked out without a quest again. How foolish that would be for me to not have a quest.
Lead the way.
Now we begin to get to the part of the game where we ask ourselves, who will we support in the Battle of Hoover
Excuse
Dam?
me, but are you the courier who caused all of that trouble in the tops?
Yes.
Oh, great. The followers of the apocalypse, well, some of us anyway, have been interested in Mr. House's technology. How he stays alive. Of course, no one else is allowed inside the Lucky 38, so no one knows what's going on. Well, except for you.
What do you want me to do?
Right. We just want to find out what sort of technology Mr. House has used to stay alive for all these years. It could be of great benefit to the people we try to help, many of whom suffer from hard-to-diagnose illnesses.
Okay.
Really? Oh, I wasn't expecting you to agree so easily. That's great. Here, take this packet sniffer. It'll allow us to intercept data on Mr. House's network. You might have to manually...
Normally I tell her to
encryption
fuck
from his
off
data
and don't do
network,
this.
But hopefully you won't have too much trouble.
She hassles
Good
you
luck.
about it every fucking time you exit the 38. So you might as well do it just to get her to shut the hell up. And House doesn't give a shit. But I still haven't gotten rid of this body. They got these horrors are still hanging around, but they haven't cleaned up the dead body. I don't know. Seems a little unprofessional to me. You know, I respect the horrors, but have some class. I can get this out of here.
Hey, sexy lady. Looking for a good time?
Talk to me after I've removed this corpse. There we go. There's some fertilizer. That'll do good. Okay, dealing with the boomers is kind of boring, so do something else. It might be time to start those DLCs. Yeah, Happy Trails Expedition. We're gonna do the Happy Trails Expedition. And so, go ahead and start at the Gunrunners.
Welcome, sir.
Shut up. I'm just going to have to sell some of this bullshit. So that I can purchase some items. Actually, I should probably go turn in that quest for the Garretts before I do this.
Come back and see us again.
Otherwise, I'll forget and sell that cowboy hat, and then I won't have it to show to him later. And that'll suck. Quite the face you have there, sir.
Here we go.
He didn't look, he just kind of looked a bit disappointed when he died. He thought, damn it, dead. Golly goodness.
Come to Mick and Ralph's for all your shopping needs.
Okay. Free side.
Make a brief stop at the Atomic Wrangler.
Is that a butcher
where
knife?
the booze is cheaper, the table's more friendly, and the women are just like the booze.
I think like a revolver would have fit the theme better. The Atomic Wrangler. Butcher knives don't really
The
fit with that.
Rangers are getting reinforcements? I hope they don't decide to bring the battle to Freeside.
Ben, you're getting paid to be a suave talker. Please sober the fuck up.
Some gamblers came in saying they'd seen you enter the Lucky 38. I have to say, I'm impressed. I don't know of any other living person who's been in there. Yes! Where's his hat?
Here you go.
This is great news. No one screws with the Garrett twins and gets away with it. I need to find a place on the wall for this. And for your reward, here's 150 caps. I trust there were also some valuables on McCaffrey. Also, we would like to set you up with a room. You can have the corner room, rent-free. It was McCaffrey's. Now that he's dead, we're happy to let you use it. Thanks for helping us.
Awesome. Now I have the option to sleep in this shithole instead of the Lucky 38 casino, which has robot Securitrons that can bring me sodas and stuff.
Keep moving.
I am moving.
Frick, Benny had it coming.
Ben, please. You're drinking too much. Okay, I think that's good enough for tonight, or at least for the next couple hours. Thank you for joining me.